Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is a little teaser, that once a month tease for the free monthly bonus episode on Patreon. We've been doing this new thing where once a month I put out an episode, full episode, exclusively on Patreon, but it's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. You don't have to put a credit card down at all. You can only hear it at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Now here's a chunk of my episode with my high school teacher, Laura Derwin, from the Hyde School, my boarding school. She met me in the summer of 2003 when I was a scared shitless 14-year-old boy. And we talked a lot about my growth, how she saw me grow even just from 14 to 18, and how we've stayed friends since then. But we also discuss her newfound discovery of her asexuality. So here's a chunk of that bonus episode right now. And then in the show notes, you will see a link to the full bonus episode. Again, go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. It's right there. If you click follow, it's going to ask you to make an account. Remember, no credit card is needed. You just make a quick account and then you click follow, and then Patreon will update you every month when that free episode is out. Okay? But for now, enjoy this little tease with Laura Derwin. You had your parents are an interesting story.
Yeah.
Like definitely a non-traditional relationship structure going on. You want to share a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, my parents were, my dad definitely bi or pan. So he was married to my mom, but then after my mom passed away, he had a girlfriend, he had a boyfriend, he had different relationships before he had his last stroke medical issue. He was definitely in love with a guy. I have all of their love letters back and forth because the guy was in prison doing some time for something. But they had been friends for a while. So he was definitely, I think I just came from a very sex positive household. There was never the don't have sex conversation. There was more along the lines of have sex, have fun, enjoy it. Don't be held up by conventional norms. Make sure that you like the person that you're doing it with. Make sure that they want to do it with you.
Was that explicit, or was that something you just kind of took in based off their example?
No, that was explicit.
That was
a conversation I had with my mom.
Did your mom stray outside the relationship?
No.
That you knew of?
No, they were both, they were monogamous. She was very, I feel like she might have been like me. They slept in different bedrooms, for most of my life, but part of that was the fact that they were both light sleepers and heavy snorers. So having bedrooms far down the hall from each other meant that they slept better. They also liked different,
or at least that was the story.
They also liked different types of mattresses. And they also had a different lifestyle. My dad was a bar club person. He'd go out and listen to music and he'd get back way late at night. Whereas my mom was kind of like me. She was in bed early most nights. So his lifestyle didn't affect her lifestyle and vice versa. They separated when I was a senior in high school. A lot of money stress because the oil industry in Texas and my dad losing his job and my mom having her first heart attack and stroke. They separated, but they were even better, had a better relationship after they separated. They would still have dinners together. My mom moved up to New Hampshire with me. We hung out, and then my dad would come up and visit, and they were still wicked close, but they've never had a traditional marriage. It was always just sort of relaxed.
And what did it feel like when you found out, what was the reaction when you found out about your dad's sexual orientation?
I think I kind of always knew, his porn collection when I found it as I was growing up had men's magazines and women's magazines. So I kind of always knew that he was into a lot of different things. didn't bother me at all. Like, it was funny because I ran into him at a gay bar one time that I was out at, and that was kind of awkward, like him dancing and me like dancing into him. Oh, hey dad, how you doing?
Did y'all like
kind
pretend it wasn't a gay bar, or
No, it was just a bar that I liked going to and he liked going to, and he was there with some of his friends. I mean, he always hung out with a lot of different people, so it was not a big deal. It wasn't until after my mom died that he was actually in what I would consider a gay relationship or a bi relationship. I don't know that Jason was straight, bi, gay, whatever, experimenting with my dad, but they were together for a while. He lived at my dad's house, so.
Yeah, but I meant like when you bumped into each other, like was it just like, oh, we're at a bar, or like did he get nervous at all that he's like, oh shit, my daughter just found me at a gay bar? Like,
no.
All right.
No, he was just sort of hanging out. I was too young to drink.
Okay.
So it was one of the few bars in Houston that you could get into at 17, but you could drink at 21. So I was just there dancing with my friends.
Sure.
It was in an area of town that I liked a lot, probably because it was in a gay section of town.
I always liked the gay section of a city way more than the
that's
rest
where
of
we
it.
all hung out, was Montrose in Houston. It's just a very, not gay so much as progressive.
Yeah.
I loved that.
I like progressive things. Queer things are cool. If I'm around the queer folk, I'm guaranteed to get the progressive shit.
Yeah.
So like, oh man, I would love to live in the West Village.
You know, I've always like wondered what it would be like to meet the twinks for Trump. Like,
I just don't have the bandwidth or the patience.
Well, no, I don't know
them.
if I just want to like. There's got to be like a little bit of self-loathing there, a little
100%.
like I don't
not a little
understand-
bit. There's 100% self-loathing.
Yeah, like it's
Or
just weird.
there's like an insane amount of like just rich white privilege where it's like, well, I'm a rich dude and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of
like
where they
in the same way where it's like white ladies will always be able to afford, like not all white ladies, but like upper class women will always be able to afford getting an abortion, whether or not they're legal in the country.
Right.
So like they don't have to care as much because
they don't
take
live
a trip
in
to Paris.
Yeah,
or whatever.
They don't live in Alabama and can't escape.
Yeah.
No. So basically, yeah, we hung out in the same area, and it happened to be that we ran into each other at the same club. We ran into each other at a lot of different clubs. My dad liked going out and listening to music and hanging out with his friends and drinking with his friends. So it was just bound to happen that we both would end up in the same part of the city.
Yeah. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to hear the entire conversation, just head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Again, doesn't cost a dime. Don't got to put a credit card down. Just go to the URL in the show notes of this teaser episode and you'll be able to hear the entire conversation for free.